ready for some planes. It's the Fort Lauderdale Air Show 2020. It's back, and we're getting a really close-up look at the planes and the pilots here just a few days before the actual air show itself on Fort Lauderdale Beach. Right now we're at Hollywood Fort Lauderdale International Airport, and we'll be seeing some awesome planes taking off and landing. That's the Hard Rock Guitar Hotel right there in the background. Let me know you enjoyed this video by giving it a like, and if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. With me is Kristen Beowulf. You are the pilot of the F-35, is that correct?
That's correct.
When did you realize flying was your passion, and what influenced you to pursue this field?
So I didn't fly much as a kid, and I didn't fly honestly until I joined the military. So I really just wanted to join the military. The Air Force was kind of the way to go for me. And then if you're gonna be in the Air Force, I was like, why don't you be a pilot? So applied for a pilot slot, luckily got the opportunity to go to pilot training, and it kind of all started there.
And as far as the name Beo in your name, how did that come to be, and is that a reference to the Old English epic poem?
Yeah, so it turns out my last name's Wolf, so Beowulf is what we call a natural. So that's pretty much it. Last name Wolf, Beowulf.
Did you come up with that, or was that something somebody else?
No, fighter pilots never come up with their own call signs. So it's incumbent on the squadron that you're in to basically have a naming ceremony and come up with something to call you forever.
Which Air Force base are you stationed at?
We're at Hill Air Force Base out of Utah.
For the air show, do you remain here for the duration of the air show, or do you have to fly back and forth?
Yeah, I mean, it took us 4.5 hours to get here today, so we're not going back home every day. We bring the jets here for the weekend, stay on the road, do the air show, and then go home.
Now, some planes, I know in the past when I've been to air shows, there's some planes that have to fly back and forth to the base. Is that correct? Like
it depends
stealth,
on what base they're going to. So, I mean, if the airfield's within probably 100 miles, then I wouldn't be surprised if they go home back and forth, but Utah's a pretty long flight.
And then what are some of the specs of this plane in terms of maximum speed, altitude, range, weaponry, as well as like any special features that sets it apart?
Yeah, so max altitude's 50,000, max speed's 1.6 Mach. Other than that, I mean, the obvious thing that sets it apart is it's the newest airplane out there as far as fighter jets. So the technology is top of the line, constantly getting upgraded, software and hardware.
And what are some of the signature moves that you'll be doing at the air show that you're most proud of or that you enjoy doing the most?
Oh man, it differs. This one's pretty cool because it's a beach show, which means you get at least a couple miles to perform up and down the coast versus a tiny little aerobatic container. So that'll be pretty cool just to fly up and down the coastline, see the people on the beach, perform all the maneuvers. Honestly, I love them all as far as the loops, aileron rolls, slow speed, high speed. They're all pretty exciting.
And are there any planes that you yearn to fly, either planes like from well into the past or things that are coming out on the horizon in the future?
Yeah, honestly, I'm just looking to fly this one as long as I can. It's like I said, the newest one out there. We don't really get, privy or read into all the stuff that's coming out in the future. So if that comes out later on, 10 years down the road and I'm still flying, then I'd love to fly, again, something brand new. We have time for like one more question.
Okay, let's see. One more question. I know in the past I've heard of the Air Force always being connected to the concept of space. A lot of pilots have become astronauts. There's now the newly formed U.S. Space Force. Originally I heard there was going to be like an aerospace force, but now there's two different divisions. Any kind of interest in branching over into space for you?
No, we don't do that in the Air Force.
No, but I'm saying for you personally, any interest in that?
Not really. I mean, I'd love to fly as high as we go. That's pretty much high enough for me. I'm not really too interested in the astronaut way. It's a totally different career path for us, going to be a test pilot and an astronaut, so I'll stick with the fast jet fighter life for now. And
one final question, what advice do you have for people pursuing this field?
I mean, I always say do the best in whatever you're doing. Pick a career field that you actually will like studying as far as getting the highest GPA you can, and then just get with a recruiter to figure out which ways to join any military branch.
Okay, thank you so much, Kristen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Kristen. Work your way up.
I'm Major Cody Shiv Wilton. I'm the A-10 Demonstration Team Commander. We're out of Davis-Monthan Air Force Base in Tucson, Arizona. And then we're here, obviously, with the Hog in the background to do the Fort Lauderdale Air Show. So this Hog in particular, this is a combat-coated jet, so it's a combat-ready airplane. It's painted with a heritage paint scheme, just in tribute to our leading ace from the wing. So it's the only one painted this way. It'll actually get repainted back into its normal combat scheme here in the near future. But the A-10, it's a ground and pound airplane, so close air support is its bread and butter. It's known mostly for the 30mm cannon you can see right there in the background. That extends about a little over a third down the airframe, almost to the wing line is all gun system right below us. The whole jet is fully redundant. It's built for safety. It's built to get in, fight, take damage, and get back out and still get home. So it's got titanium bathtubs, dual hydraulic systems, dual electrical systems. Everything on it is just completely redundant. It's got big beefy landing gear so it can land on a dry lake bed, a pseudo airstrip, so any kind of austere field. The airplane was built to land there and carry on with the mission. Can carry 16,000 pounds of bombs. In the demo configuration, we actually reduced some of the pylons, so you only see 4 weapon stations, but normally it would have 11. Other than that, this jet is just like any other jet in the fleet. Range, max range in this configuration, we can get about 1,100 miles out of it going cross country.
And how many Gs do you pull?
So 7.33 is the G limit of the airframe. And the way we have it configured, that's our limit for the demo. So we'll pull 7.33 multiple times during the demonstration.
I've heard the term a G monster, someone that can handle high Gs.
Yeah.
Is that something that somebody can train for, or is that just kind of like a hereditary thing, something that somebody's just born with that ability?
It's a little bit of both. So you can definitely train your G tolerance. You get better and better the more you do it. It's just natural, because a lot of it's just muscles that you don't use all the time, but you use them for your G strain. The other is certain body types are better for pulling Gs. So somebody who's shorter in stature actually typically has a better G tolerance. Somebody with higher blood pressure actually has a little bit better G tolerance.
Really?
Because it's all about that blood forcing down. So any of those little things, less distance to travel, higher blood pressure, those things kind of help you pull Gs. But a lot of it's just health and fitness levels. So making sure you're hydrated, you eat a good meal, and you build up to it.
In combat, how do you determine like which plane is to be used for this, for that? I mean, what kind of differentiates? Are they going to say let's use the F-35 or an F-22 or Warthog? What kind of factors determine that?
So a lot of it's just by design of the airframe. So the A-10 is obviously not going to do an air-to-air roll where that F-35 can, or mainly the F-22 would be able to. The F-35 also has sensors that we don't have, so when it comes to doing like seed suppression of enemy air defenses, so taking out those radar, those SAM sites, that's their bread and butter, where for us it's getting down and supporting the troops with direct and immediate firepower and a lot of it.
With unmanned aircraft on the horizon, is that in any way a threat to the future of Air Force pilots in the actual cockpit?
I don't foresee that being an issue in the very near term, at least as far as our manning levels and everything else. Who knows what the future holds, and everything unmanned is getting more and more capable. But I think you'll see some augmented systems out there maybe in the future, but I have no idea, Only time will tell.
Being a pilot of this nature, flying these kind of planes and all that, does an adrenaline junkie kind of factor into that? Like, are you into like thrills, things like that, whether it be roller coasters, sports cars?
Yeah, I would say for a lot of the guys, their hobbies kind of tend to be that way. We got a lot of mountain bikers, downhill bikers, stuff like that, dirt bikes, you name it. So a good portion of the squadron is that way. But also, with the way aircraft are changing and things are a lot more digital and a lot more sensor focused, we see a lot of people that have gaming backgrounds, a lot of computer backgrounds. So we're getting more and more of that. So it's really kind of an even mix right now.
So that was another question I was going to ask. Are a lot of pilots, were they gamers? Do they still maintain that? Does the skills on games, does that actually translate into skills as a pilot?
I think some of it probably has to, right? That hand-eye coordination, working, we're up there working throttle controls and everything for our systems. So we're working that hands-on throttle and stick to manage a targeting pod, which is like a video screen with laser guidance and maneuvering weapons, again, with our hands on the stick. So I'm sure some of that carries over. I don't know if we have more people that are gamers than other communities, but we definitely have a good bit of guys that come from that background.
And come Saturday and Sunday, what are some of the maneuvers that we could be expecting to see from you?
We're going to put the jet through its paces. So we're going to do vertical 540, so pulling straight into the vertical with it. We're going to do split S's. We're going to go as fast as the jet can go. We'll go as slow as we can go. And then unique to this show here at Fort Lauderdale, we actually have flares loaded on the jet. So we're going to be putting out flares in the demo over water out there. So it's going to be something unique and fun.
And one final thing, being an adrenaline junkie myself, is there any possibility anytime in the future to be able to get a test ride on any kind of these planes?
Oh man.
Please say yes, and how does one do?
Unfortunately, the only one here that even has a 2-seat model is the F-16. So there's no 2-seat A-10s, no 2-seat F-35s.
Only one seat in here?
Only one seat. For pretty much every platform now, except for the F-16 and the F-15.
Wow, that's very interesting. Okay, well, thank you very much. And I'm looking forward to seeing you and the rest of the crew on Saturday and Sunday.
Thank you, we appreciate it.
People here getting a look at all the planes taking off and landing right next to the railroad tracks. There's Fort Lauderdale Airport. And please let me know you've enjoyed this content by giving it a big thumbs up, a like. And if you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you know when all future videos are uploaded. Thank you, and I will see you soon.